house dies the day the last person who loved it stops talking about it. I think that's backwards. My house died the day it started talking too much, and I was the only one left who could still hear it. I was born in that house in 1937, on the 3rd floor, in the bedroom that faced west. My mother swore the walls sighed when I took my first breath, like they'd been waiting for me. The house was already old then, 1894 brownstone, 4 stories, narrow and tall, the kind that leans a little when the subway rumbles underneath. My father called it the stubborn widow because it refused to sell, refused to modernize, refused to let anyone forget it had once been grand. We were never rich, just comfortable enough. Daddy fixed watches on the parlor floor. People came from all 5 boroughs because he could make a 1920s Cartier whisper again. Mother took in sewing. My brother Tommy was born in 41, and for 8 perfect years the house was loud with us. Feet on the stairs, radio jazz, the clatter of Mama's Singer machine, Tommy's marbles rolling across the hardwood like thunder. Then 1950 happened. Tommy was 8. I was 13. It was the first warm Saturday in April, and the house smelled of lemon oil because Mama had made us polish every banister. Tommy wanted to fly his new kite from the roof. I told him no. The roof door stuck, and Daddy had warned us. But Tommy had that smile, the one that made adults fold like cheap lawn chairs. So I followed him up the attic stairs, past the trunks full of somebody else's wedding dresses, past the dormer window where pigeons cooed like gossiping old ladies. The roof door did stick. I yanked it hard. Tommy slipped past me, laughing, running toward the edge with the red kite snapping behind him like a devil's tail. I still see it in dreams. The string tangled around his ankle, the sudden jerk, his small hands grabbing air, the silence after the scream. He fell 4 stories into the alley. The kite landed on top of him, still trying to fly. After that, the house changed its voice. At first it was little things. The 3rd step from the top creaked only when I walked past Tommy's room, never when anyone else did. The attic door that used to stick now swung open on windy nights, inviting me up. Mother started sleeping in the parlor because she said the upstairs hallway smelled like the hospital where they took Tommy's body. Daddy stopped fixing watches. He just sat in the dark with the pieces spread out like a puzzle he no longer believed had an answer. I was the only one who heard the new sounds, a marble rolling by itself across the nursery floor at 3:14 a.m. every single night. The soft thud of small bare feet running from the bathroom to Tommy's room and stopping, always stopping, right at the threshold, like he was still afraid to come in without knocking. I never told anyone. How could I? They were already drowning. Years slid by. Mother died in 69. Quietly in her sleep on the parlor sofa, still wearing her thimble. Daddy followed in 73, heart attack while winding a grandfather clock that would never keep time again. The house passed to me. I married late, at 38, a quiet librarian named Ruth who understood silences. We lived on the 2nd floor and rented the rest to students, actors, immigrants, anyone who didn't mind stairs that groaned like old men. Ruth died in 2009. Cancer. She asked to be cremated and scattered in the backyard lilac that had survived every gentrification wave. I did it at dusk so the neighbors wouldn't call the cops. After she was gone, the house spoke louder. Lights flickered when I said Tommy's name out loud. The kitchen faucet turned itself on every April 8th, the day he fell, running ice cold until exactly 3:14 p.m. One winter the radiator in Tommy's old room banged so hard it cracked, and when the plumber opened it, a single red kite string spilled out like a vein. I started answering back. I left marbles on the nursery floor. I played Glenn Miller records because Tommy had loved In the Mood. I sat on the roof on warm nights and told the dark what I never told our parents. That I yanked the door, that I let him run past me, that I killed my brother as surely as if I'd pushed him. The house listened. Sometimes it forgave me by going quiet for weeks. Sometimes it punished me with slammed doors and footsteps that sounded exactly like Ruth walking to the kitchen for tea she'd never drink again. By 2021 I was 84, arthritic, half-blind from macular degeneration. The taxes were impossible. The brownstone next door sold for $7 million to a tech couple who turned it into one big white box with a single orchid on the counter. My children, Ruth's niece and nephew who I'd raised after their parents died in a car crash, begged me to sell. Aunt Ellie, you can't climb 4 flights anymore. Let it go. So I let it go. The closing was on a Tuesday in October. I walked through one last time with the realtor, a girl young enough to be my great-granddaughter, who kept saying so much potential while I heard the walls weeping. I left the key on the kitchen counter, the one scarred by decades of coffee cups and sewing scissors and Tommy's toy trains. They gutted it the next week. I watched from the sidewalk as dumpsters filled with our banisters, our colored glass, the nursery wallpaper printed with tiny airplanes. On the third day, they tore down the wall between Tommy's room and mine. I swear I heard a child scream. Short, sharp, final. The new building is luxury condos now. Glass and steel. No stays. No soul. They kept the brownstone facade because the Landmarks Commission made them. But inside it's all strangers who will never know a boy died trying to touch the sky. I live above a laundromat. The dryers thump like a heartbeat that isn't mine. Some nights I wake up certain I smell lemon oil and lilac. Some nights I hear marbles rolling across a floor that no longer exists. The house didn't forget how to speak. It just has no mouth left. And I am the last one who remembers its language.